Hey everybody, Doug8798 here. This is my updated 2016 rant on the entire Dragon Ball Anthrology franchise. That means Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Fakatsu no F, and finally Dragon Ball Super. This is the introduction to all of those rants. Each of those series will get individual rants, including specific saga um rants. Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, and Fakatsu no F and Dragon Ball Super were so damn terrible that I quit Dragon Ball Z for good. If you look at my channel, there hasn't been a Dragon Ball Z video since late 2015. I don't remember what month of 2015 I stopped with Dragon Ball Z, but my last video was in somewhere in late 2015, and after taking a break from Dragon Ball Z and coming back with the new Six Universe arc and now the Future Trunks saga arc, the series still sucks. Never anything good with this series. Always disappointment. Always disappointment with this series. Let's start off with the original Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball, while not as bad as Dragon Ball Z and Battle of Gods, Fakatsu no F, and of course Super, the original Dragon Ball sucked. Um, Terrible artwork. Terrible artwork. It's a terrible artwork. Complete disgrace to the Monkey Boy. Journey to the West. Epic. Um, inconsistencies. Inconsistencies, fakery, so much bullshit with the series, and just average, Oh, and also speaking of average, terrible pacing issues. The original Dragon Ball is like, I don't know how many, about 189 chapters long, and is 153 episodes long, and it's 189 chapters and 153 episodes of terrible, boring, bland, simplistic story. The original Dragon Ball sucks. The only thing I like about it is that's when the human characters were more useful. This is when the human characters were more useful because there are no Super Saiyans, there are no well, there are androids, but there are no overpowered androids. Um, Overpowered androids, bio warriors, mutants, and all the stuff that we would see in Z and in latter part of GT. There is none of that in Dragon Ball. But hell, even in Dragon Ball, characters like Yamcha, after pretty much any character after they met Goku, after they fought or met Goku, just became lame and just useless. Tien was one of the most powerful characters on Earth when he was introduced in the Tien saga, in the Second World Tournament saga. Yet come to the King Piccolo saga. He does all this training to master the Mafuba. He later fights. He later has a hard fight with Drum, and then Goku comes out of nowhere and makes him look lame by killing the demon Drum with one kick. And he does nothing but watch the battle with King Piccolo, only getting involved to use the last bit of his energy to help Goku fly, I think to evade a blast. And then later, when Piccolo decides to beat him up and assault him to get the advantage over Goku, then the Piccolo Jr. saga, he defeats Tao, he fights Goku, loses, and is useless for the rest of the arc except for creating a hole in the ground for the people to hide in during the battle with Goku and Piccolo. Goku and Piccolo. So yeah. So yeah. So like I said, then of course So yeah. Useless characters. Um, really bland characters. Even characters I like Tien. Pretty much every character. This is the entire Dragon Ball series. Every character, pretty much, with the exception of Android 16, 17, 18, and Trunks, is like bland and just boring. Boring. Even the characters I like. I don't like the way the characters are written. And when there is something good with the characters, some good story arc for the characters, they always find a way to ruin it. They always find a way to ruin it. And finally, speaking of ruin it, some of the worst, atrocious character development I've seen. That's the original Dragon Ball. Then you got Dragon Ball Z, which is in some ways, believe it or not, in some ways it was better. But now, after watching it now, Dragon Ball Z is in most ways the same as the original Dragon Ball, and at times even worse. It still has the same pacing issues the original Dragon Ball Z has, except this is even worse. This is over 291, 276 in the English version, in the English dub of episodes, and I think it's 100, it's 200. I keep forgetting the exact number for Dragon Ball Z Kai, but still too much. Still too many episodes of piss poor, weak story, and even worser character development than the first series. And despite being the same universe as the first series, several inconsistencies with the first series, which I'm gonna detail in the longer saga rants and longer rants of these specific series. Then, of course, we got Battle of Gods. Not really much to say about Battle of Gods, other than the fact that it was boring, a waste of everyone's time, resembling nothing epic, felt like a filler episode of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. A filler episode of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z would have been better than watching this. Had they this introduced us to Bills and Wiz, two of the worst characters in all of Dragon Ball. Vegeta would probably be the worst in Dragon Ball Z, but the worst characters of all time are Bills and Wiz. And then always brings my last point. Not only yeah, minor plot holes, but the biggest one, the biggest problem I had with Battle of Gods was the in what was unoriginal and problem I have with Toriyama and unoriginality is that he never tries to make any of this stuff good. He just looks at whatever is popular, puts in his crappy series, regardless of if it fits or not, and just leave it there. And I have a problem with that. What's his name? So that's Battle of Gods. Next is Fakatsu no F. This was slightly better than Battle of Gods in the animation and fighting department, but this was just as much garbage as Battle of Gods, even more so at several times. Multiple plot holes. Frieza's return was a big waste of time. They they screwed the Vegeta character up even more and cheated him out of the victory, only to have Goku do it, and had the worst ending ever with Wiz turning back time and Goku hitting Frieza with a Kamehameha wave. And so many plot holes and just terrible. Just terrible. The only thing good was the Piccolo and the human characters fighting Frieza's minions. Just terrible. And this was so bad. This and Super was so bad. I quit Dragon Ball Z. Then Dragon Ball Super. Only thing good about this show was Goku and Hercules, and even to a lesser degree Vegeta's development, development. Finally advancing those characters instead of writing in the same thing, which is what you kept doing with these characters in Z. and 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 that's the only thing good about Super. That's the only thing good about Super. The whole first what season of Super, the first 20 something episodes is a repeat of Battle of Gods and Fakatsu no F in episode form. In episode form. And then they try to say this is for people who didn't watch those movies. I'm pretty sure anyone who's watching Super had to see Battle of Gods and Fakatsu no F first. Super hasn't been released here. Um, then of course, then we get the sixth generation arc, the sixth universe arc, something like that. Another tournament involving Champa, another Bill's god type character. Because two weren't bad enough. Bills and Wiz weren't bad enough. Well, we need another OP powered god and another lame rip off of Marvel's Champion of the Universe tournament. Then after that, we get a garbage Future Trunks saga. That's pretty much this is pretty much a rip off and crappier version of Superman Prime and Injustice Superman. Um, and like I said, and Dragon Ball Z, like I said, it still sucks. Like I said, this was the introduction to other Dragon Ball Z rants. And before I finish, Battle of Gods, Fakatsu no F and Super, they were so awful. They're so bad. They actually make the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z seem good in comparison. Which brings us to the last thing I forgot. When you get to Battle of Gods, Super, and Fakatsu no F, the characters, they've lost all their novelty and fun. It is boring. There is nothing that gets me excited about Dragon Ball Z. It is always misery, pain, and just disappointment when I look at whenever I view Dragon Ball Z. Never anything good. Always disappointment with this franchise. Well, this was my rant on the entire Dragon Ball Anthrology. All right, I'm done.